What's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of Kickin It With KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am your host, Kiki Chanel, award-winning author, lifestyle blogger, and certified life coach. Today, I am with a special guest, someone that I've known for a very long time, and he is coming to kick it with me today. But you guys know how I like to do. I like to give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves. So, hey, friend,
What's going on, classmate?
listen, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Awesome. Yeah, well, they call me Ace now, so hey, back in the day. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a graduate from the wonderful St. Helena in Greensburg and graduated 1995 and been living out here in um, Green Bay, Wisconsin, and just had to move out here to try and um, live a better life for the family, get some good opportunities, and which is great because they don't cook out here and I cook. So, I teach cooking classes, I do private in-home dinners. I have my own cooking show on quite a few channels. And then recently, about 2 years ago, I started playing music, really for relaxation and to help with anxiety and stress and all these other mental disorders. And I absolutely love it because it calms me down. Growing up the way we grew up, I used to punch holes in walls to release my anger, and that just made it worse. So, so this
Absolutely.
really, really helps to give me an outlet. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm so proud of you. And thank you for coming to kick it with me today.
Thank you. My pleasure. I'm proud of you too.
Thank
Purple?
you. I
Miss Purple?
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Listen, shout out to
Yeah, yeah,
Greensburg. Two of its
yeah,
it two of its home people like living the
yeah.
dream of making their dreams a reality. So we're gonna get into life a little bit.
Okay.
Now you just talked about how you cook, and shout out to the Packers. That's my team. Go
Oh
Pack
yeah.
Go.
Say, hey, and I cook for them too. So quite a few
Oh,
of them.
nice.
Oh
Listen, don't have me to come visit.
yeah. Cook you some food and introduce you to a couple Packers.
There you go. Yes. So I want to get into we talk about life, love, and all the
I
other
ain't
shit
mad
on the
at you. I ain't
podcast, right?
mad at you.
Yes. So we're gonna talk a little bit about your love for food. When did you know
Yeah.
that you had a passion for food?
Actually, my first job was PT truck stop in Amen. And I got hired on as a dishwasher. And one of the cooks didn't want to cook my food. He was like, "You cook it." I'm like, "Man, I can't cook." He was like, "Just watch me." And I watched this one man cook for about, it had to be about 30, 40 people in there. And I mean, I think the thing that impressed me the most was how cool he was. To see
Mm.
someone in the midst of chaos and just be just cool as ice and putting the orders out, I said I want to do that. So then when I actually started cooking, I first fell in love with the adrenaline rush because there's something about when there's a packed house and there's all this chaos and you putting out orders 10 minutes at a time, like that really stimulates me very well. But then as I actually started to see the response at what people got when they eat, I think that's what I most fell in love with. To know that that table over there, that family that's laughing and having a good time, I'm playing a big role in that because the food is what they came there for. So that's really what sparked my passion to know that I wanted to cook. It's just unfortunately the restaurants kind of a joke. You know what I mean? I'll be
Mm.
honest with you. I mean, the pay is bad, the hours is bad. I was that close to walking away because I just, once I got my degree and everything like that in culinary, I just thought this can't be it. And that's when I started to start on my own LLC and start to work for myself. And I've been 15 years now self-employed, and thank God, knock on wood, I haven't had to work a part-time job to sustain it. It's been all just self-made money.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And sometimes you just have to know that if it's aligned to your purpose, God will make a way. You
All
just
the
have to
time.
take the steps. And
Yes.
you keep taking steps. So keep taking those steps and God is going to continue to bless you. It looks good on you. I just want to let you know that.
Thank you, thank you. It
Yes.
feels good. It feels good. You know when
Listen,
someone's leaving their purpose. You know what I mean?
absolutely. You see, they just glow. We glow
Yep.
different. We
Yeah.
go through life different, and I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's
So,
awesome.
how does your love for food influence your relationships and interactions with others?
Well, really, mainly the when I started doing the cooking class part. So, when I was cooking in the restaurants and stuff like that, a lot of the times I didn't even see the people. They table 10 said good job. That's about it. But when I started doing private in-home dinners, I mean, I meet people for the first time, and when I leave there, it's like family. I mean, they're like
Mm,
inviting me over for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. You'd think that I've known them forever because these people are opening up their homes, and almost 10 out of 10 times they've never experienced a private chef. So
mm-hmm.
for me to come in and get the little 4-year old and have her help me make mac and cheese and get everybody involved, like I get them all involved. So it really gives them an experience that they'll remember forever. And then on the cooking class part, you know, there's so many people out. It ain't like Louisiana. Louisiana, you frying chicken and folk. You know what I mean? But
Right.
not out here. I mean, they've truly have lost the art of cooking. So, in reality, I'm helping these people um, save their lives. Be honest with you, because I coach a lot of people that need to be on special diets. They just don't know how to make it taste good. So then when I come in and I know that I can't just teach them, I have to like motivate them and inspire them and really
Mm.
like spark something in them, and to see that spark when you got a 65-year-old man that's like, I ain't cooking it, but let the woman cook, that type. Now all of a sudden he tagging me on Facebook, hey, look what I made, look what I made.
I love
That
it.
that just brings me so much joy.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
I love watching you talk about it because you just light up. So
yeah.
for the people that's listening, go on over to the YouTube channel so you can see his expressions when he's talking about this passion of food and interacting with people. Because where we come from in Louisiana, like our people know how to throw down.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
So
oh yeah.
cooking was like a way of life for us. And to come across people who just don't have that type of foundation, how do you motivate them to even start that with their own families?
You really, it all starts with the education. I have to make it look easy.
Mm,
And the problem with some of the chefs these days is they let the ego get the best of them. So they want to take a simple, you know, sauce and make it seem like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do to make themselves look big. Versus me, I'm like, oh no, it's so simple. All you got to do is bloop 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 that. And when I make it seem that simple, you see the people be like, oh, it really is not that hard. So really, it's me making the education for them so simple to where like literally I can have a 7-year-old come in there who ain't never cooked before and she in there throwing down with me because I'm like, oh no, hold it like this. Sometimes I gotta hold their hand, like
mm-hmm,
literally I gotta hold their hand. But they get it. They really just lack the fundamentals of cooking from scratch. They can
mm,
cook, like they
mm-hmm.
can take something out the box. Oh, no, I hope they don't hear me say this about that. They ain't all like that. They ain't all like that. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of processed food eating out to restaurants, fast food. There's a lot of that going on out here, and just trying to encourage them that, now you get to put something healthy in your body because all the ingredients you're putting in there, and you get to sit down at the table with your family and break bread. Versus, when you go out, kids got to eat McDonald's in the room, mom in the kitchen, everybody eating separate. So I'm trying to like bring it back to the old school to where we can all sit down and talk about what happened to school, but the food got to be good though, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
don't nobody want to talk if it's nasty, you know what I mean?
Right. Or the conversation is gonna lead like
It's
go
gonna
real quick.
lead
All
to
right,
that. Yeah,
can I be excused?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes, I love it. So, in what ways do you find cooking similar to love, both in practice and its emotional impact on the lives that you touch, as well as your own?
See, that's funny because that's the I wrote a book in 2013, 8 Steps to Your Perfect Meal, and that
Ah,
is the 8 step is love. And it's funny because
I did
when I
not know
wrote the
that.
book, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. My first book was I didn't want to do a recipe book. I wanted to do a book that gave people the tips because recipe ain't gonna do you no good if you don't know the fundamentals, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk about love, I always compare grandma's cooking, our mom's cooking. You know how you always say, man, she put some love in that. Or in Louisiana, we say they put their foot in it. But, you know, we
Yeah.
also say love, you
Yes.
know. And I tell people that love is a serious emotion because I'm a firm believer of like the law of attraction. What you think about, you attract. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm making this food and I'm thinking about how much they're gonna enjoy it, oh, they're gonna love when hook them up with this. You know, I'm thinking about, I'm putting all that into the food. When they eat that energy that I put in there. And that's where what the grandmas do when they make the food, and they spending 12, 13 hours making all this pies. They ain't doing it because they love to sweat in the kitchen for 13 hours. They doing it because they know they're gonna bring the family together, which is love, and they
Mm-hmm.
know that they're gonna get it back. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because that's how love works. You give it, you
You
receive it.
get it.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I teach people that. I teach people to, you know, and I don't mean love like being conceited. I mean love like, you know, love cooking and not love like the cooking process, but love the outcome that you're doing. Love the fact that, okay, I'm doing something healthy for my body. Love the fact that, okay, I'm cooking for my family now. I'm giving them something instead of just, here's $10 to go to McDonald's. You know, you participating, you know, so that's why love plays a huge role in pretty much everything I do, especially cooking.
Well, I love that. Yes,
Yeah.
you have to. Like I don't cook as much as I would want to because the way that I work is just ridiculous.
Oh
But
yeah, it's rough.
when I do, that is my whole intention. I'm cooking this with love so that my family can experience that. They can taste it when they see the presentation versus the flavor that you put in. It's you
Yes,
have to take some type of thought in behind preparing meals nowadays.
you
Because
do.
like you said, fast food is so easy and they just pretty much giving it away because they know
Mm-hmm.
that it's so harmful to your body. You
Mm-hmm.
know, why not take an extra step by going to the grocery store
Yes.
and getting the ingredients and then coming it back and creating something that you know that is
Right.
healthy because you putting everything in yourself.
Yes, yes. And I always tell people when you do cook, because I know it's rough, cook a big batch of it, you know, because then you got lunch the next day and then you can freeze it. People forget. Remember when COVID hit?
Oh
Everyone was
yeah.
buying canned beans. I'm like, y'all know y'all like the meat was just rotten on the grocery store. I'm like, y'all can buy some steaks and freeze that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
now you can't just freeze a piece of chicken, thaw it out, and eat a piece of chicken. No, you got to shred that up, make some chicken tacos, make some chicken cacciatore, you know, get creative to where so now every time you go into the kitchen and you cook a good meal, it doesn't feel like you starting from scratch. You have
Yeah.
a little bit of a backbone. Yeah,
Absolutely. Some type of foundation to grow from. I love it.
yeah.
Okay, so can you share a memorable experience when a dish you created brought people together in a meaningful way?
There's so many of them. I mean, literally every time I go to these people's homes and cook, I mean, it's like I would say I had the honor to cook for someone's 60th anniversary, and they were
Mm.
like 80 something, almost 90 years old. All their kids was there. Their grandkids was there. I think one of the grandkids had a kid there, you know, and they didn't want to go out to eat because you got all the hustle and bustle all around and they just wanted an intimate moment, but they wanted a spectacular meal.
Mm.
And me being a private chef in Green Bay, I'm like the only one. I knew I had a niche. When the first day I got my LLC, I was ranked number two. I'm like, how I'm ranked
Mm.
number two? I ain't even got my website up because no one does it. So to be able to bring that experience to the 60-year anniversary, and because you don't know that could have been, you know, their last bet. That was a memorable. I just thought of another memorable one that I'll share with you. I don't mean to give you two, but I got to give you this one.
Okay.
So it was a brother that had he was real sick, and he always did the cooking, and he wanted someone else to do it. And his brother reached out to me and had me do it, and he had Pacific. This is how it's got to be. So I went over there. I cooked steak, lobster, big old meal, and then I played my music for them all. And they
Mm.
all came into the living room and sat around this guy that was getting ready to pass. He passed away the next day. And I was like, wow. Just to know that I was able to give them that memorable moment of the relaxing music and the good food and the breaking bread. You the only other option was to order out. That would not have been the
Yeah.
same ordering Jimmy John's pizza, you know. So that was probably my most emotional memory. He literally called me the next day. He said he literally held on for that one experience.
Wow, that just
So
gave me chills. Oh
yeah,
my good. And I love hearing stuff like that
yeah,
because it was an
yeah.
impactful moment for not just yourself, but that family.
The family,
Mm.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay, so we're gonna
yes.
switch gears a little bit and we're gonna talk about well, I'm gonna mix in both of them. I'm mixing like
Yeah,
life
yeah,
and
yeah, for
love. Like,
sure.
okay, so how do you balance the demands of your career with your personal life and relationships?
Well, I make my career my hobby. So if I had other hobbies on top of my career, I'll be all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to take a trip up north to the beautiful Door County that they got up there, I would literally book an event up there. So then, one, I ain't got to stress about spending money because you know that's always the thing, and I'll work from like 8 to 10, 2 hours, and then I got 2 days off. And they done put me up in a hotel for 2 days. They done gave me all these expenses, so I get to have fun, but I'm still working. You know what I mean? So that's a huge part of it. I did play semi-pro football for about 17 years. My brother got old. You know what I'm saying? I had to give that up, and so I just really just poured myself into the cooking part. And I do love it, and I do love the reaction that I get from people. So to bring that personal into my bit, and I know they say don't mix business with pleasure and all that kind of stuff. Shoot, why not? You know what I mean? I
If
do
it
it all the
works,
time.
yeah.
If it works, it don't work for everybody. It don't work for every
Mm-hmm.
yoga. Sorry, my little dog's down here sniffing around. I gotta watch his little self. He's a
I
little
love the
small
name
dog.
yoga.
Yoga, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's our
I
little
love
15
that.
pound dog. So
Oh, nice. Nice.
yeah,
And I think it's important to have that work-life balance so that you don't
yeah,
get burned out or your family don't feel like they're being neglected and things like that. Because when you are trying to provide for your family, you have to work. It
oh yeah,
the bills will be there. And
oh yeah,
so we have to make
oh
sure
yeah.
that I know for me, I have to make sure that I'm setting aside when I'm leaving my office, work is left there. And when I walk into my living room, I am home and my family can feel my presence. Because one thing I hate about, I love interaction with the people that I love. I love meaningful experiences. I don't like small talk. So when I have the opportunity to be present, fully present in the moment, oh, I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna make sure that they know that I'm there. Hey,
Right,
y'all
right, right. Yeah.
yeah. So, what is a dish that represents your idea of love and why?
Oh, I would say, you know, and I make so many. I have over 100 items on my menu. But I would say my New Orleans bread pudding with my whiskey cream sauce.
Okay.
And not that it's the best dessert that I make, it's just because it's such comfort food, you know. And out here they drink a lot, so like when I say whiskey cream sauce, oh my lord, you just thought I put some liquid gold up in there. I mean, just the response that you get from people, you know, it just, I mean, I've had people eat it and be like, man, I feel like I'm home, you know, and to hear that, it's like, okay, okay, just because it's so comforting, and they don't get real bread pudding out here. You know, I went to a restaurant when I came out here and they had the nerve to put Wonder Bread slices in vanilla pudding. That's what I said. Welcome to Wisconsin. And so you can imagine pulling bread out of pudding. I'm like, I don't even know why they say pudding because there ain't nothing pudding about it, you know.
Right.
So, you know, to
I'm
give
putting
them the
this in the
real,
trash can.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I love that. I love it. I'm not really a big fan of bread pudding, but I did find some like a couple of years ago that I love, and it is made out of Krispy Kreme donuts. So it was delicious. It and it's like I'm like, I know it's unhealthy,
yeah.
but if I
Well, you
have to
know,
eat it, I'm gonna eat it.
in reality, the only thing that's not healthy about it is I use less brown sugar. See, when I worked in a Louisiana restaurant, and I can tell you why you might not liked it. As they're eating, making sandwiches, they have a tub at the bottom, and they throw all the end pieces of the bread. That's what
Mm.
they use to make bread, putting the nasty end pieces that nobody wants. See,
I
I use
love the
fresh
I
French bread, real
but I
French
lo-
bread, because it
but I love
absorbs
the
it.
end pieces. I love the end pieces. I
See,
do.
I know some people do love it. I'm not a fan. I'm not. I want that soft, creamy bread. I don't want that. My
But see,
mom
I
was the
love
same way. She's like, save me
yes.
the end pieces.
Send me the end pieces. Like the end pieces hold the whole thing together. Without them, it would be nothing. It would be falling apart. So yeah.
So I guess so. I guess so. We'll save them all for you then.
Okay.
Yes,
All right, so
indeed. Yes,
let's
indeed.
change gears. Let's change gears. We're going to talk about
Yeah,
music
yeah,
now. We've talked about the cooking side. We're going to talk about the music. Good
for sure.
Buffalo. How did he come
Yes.
about and why? Why the name? Let's put it like that. How did Good Buffalo come about and what inspired the name?
Good question. Good question. So as I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize that I'm more than the color of my skin. You know,
Mhm.
in Louisiana, they're just like, you black, you black. I'm like, well, black ain't even a race. That's just a color in the crown. By what do you mean by that? And I never really know my heritage. I just know my mom and my grandmother. Come to find out, both grandmothers of both sides are Cherokee Indian, full blooded. And I'm like, okay, well, I knew all these light skinned people, there's got to be more to the story. They just like black. They mix with something. So as
Uh-huh.
I'm getting older, I'm starting to embrace. Because I want to embrace, my first album is called Know Thyself, So I want to know all about myself, not my personality, but my DNA too as well. So ironically, I was at one of the local Nitas one stops, and I was demoing Buffalo. And a chief from Las Vegas came in, and he was so impressed because I marinated it, I put the Cajun season on it. He's like, I ain't never had nothing like this before, and I felt, and this is before I even started playing music. I'm like, I feel like I need a spiritual name, and he went back to Vegas. He went to his tent. He said he meditated for like 2 days, and he came
Mm.
back and he said, "Good Buffalo." At first, I was kind of like, man, I wanted to be like Good Wolf or Good Tiger. I want to be, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I looked up what does buffalo mean,
Mm-hmm.
so the buffalo is one of the few animals that when the storm comes, instead of running away from the storm, it puts his head down and goes through the storm. Because he
Mm-hmm.
knows the quickest way through that storm is to move
Go
through it.
through it.
I'm like, doggone it, that's me right there. Because I didn't have so many challenges moving out here, and I literally just put the head down and just go through it and go through it's hard, you know what I mean? But I just go through it, and I always come out. I feel like I always come out first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when that name stuck with me. So then when the music came, you know, everyone's like, "What's your stage name?" And I'm like, "Well, Ace is my name." But it did really make Ace meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Football worked great, but this, I'm like, I'm gonna go with Good Buffalo. And first, I was a little nervous saying it because out here people are like Good Buffalo. They make a little fun or whatever. But then it just stuck, and then now, I mean, they introduced. I was just at the music awards. I was one of the finalists, and they don't even say Ace no more. It's Good Buffalo.
Good
So they've
Buffalo. Yeah.
accepted it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So that I'm gonna roll with that until this life is no more.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So, what similarities do you see between composing music and experiencing love?
Well, see, the music allows me to express my soul and my heart to others. I learned non-traditional, so I didn't learn through sheet music, which is most people that play instruments, they do the sheet music. But the problem with that is every time they playing someone else's song. Someone
Mm,
wrote that song for them. So the old school, most of the flutes that I play, some of them go back 15,000 years. I mean, they're so
wow.
ancient.
Mm,
And back then, they didn't have sheet music and papers and all and orchestra. They literally drilled some holes in a piece of bed bamboo and figured out how to make it sound good, and they sit and they played from their heart. They call that in Chinese culture it's called Cuisine. So that's blowing and playing from your soul. So then when people hear me, they literally get a chance to express and to feel my soul. Because I don't know what I'm playing. I just close my eyes and whatever comes to me, that's what comes out. And they feel that. I mean, they cry,
Mm.
they say they're inspired. They say some people say their life is on a different path now. I had a one lady, she was almost 80 years old. I was playing an African drum, and she said that was the first time I didn't feel angry. I felt like I belonged on this earth. And here, this woman's been here 80 years. You know,
Wow.
that's the love that I'm able to bring because I'm able to express my love through the music, my soul.
Wow. Wow. That was so deep.
Yeah,
For the first time in 80 years, she felt
80
like she
years.
belonged. Wow, she
The
wasn't
long hair.
angry.
This was a white lady. This wasn't like, a
Yeah.
black person living in a
Yeah.
white world trying. No, all her peers are all just like her. She just didn't feel because the music is so ancient to where
Mm-hmm.
even if you've never heard it before, you're gonna feel like, man, I feel this. Because in
Mm-hmm.
reality, it's in your DNA. Your great
Mm-hmm.
great 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 grandmother or grandfather probably knew this type of music.
Yeah.
You just didn't hear it, but it's in your DNA.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Can you describe a song you've written that holds significant personal meaning related to life?
Well, my first song that I wrote was the name of my album, "Know Thyself." And to be clear, I don't technically write songs. So it's not traditional. Normally, a musician will go in there, they'll write it all out on paper, they'll practice it like 50 million times before they record it. When I recorded my first album, I literally took my cell phone. I didn't even have a speaker or none of the microphone and put it right next. And I closed my eyes and I thought of the moment, like how do I feel? And I
Mm,
just play it. And then once I play it and I'm editing and I'm listening to it, the names come to me, you know,
nice.
spirit of the soul or whatever it might be. The names just come to me. I am actually right now writing my fourth album,
Nice.
with about 12, 14 songs in each one. So Know Thyself was the biggest connection because it wasn't just a song, it's a message, that I
Uh-huh.
want people to know. Because they don't, people a lot of times these days, they don't really know themselves. They know this ego that they
Mm-hmm.
try and present. But I always tell people if you put on a different mask when you go to work and when you go to church and when you go out with your friends and when you come home, if these are all different people, you don't know yourself.
At
And you're
all.
not being yourself neither.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So to find your true self and trust that some people might not like your true self, and that's okay, you know. But it's very important to release that soul from his body and let it express itself. I was able to do that, and it's just been a magical journey because I'm doing things that I never in a million years thought I would be playing. An instrument, yet alone meditative flutes from China and
Yes.
Ukraine and all these different exotic. But I played the multiple different ones because the message is if I can bring all these cultures together and play these flutes and make them all sound harmonious like they belong together, how is that any different than how the world should be? Everything's so separate
Abs-
now, Chinese people over here, black over here, white over here, Mexican over here. No one's wanting to like dance together anymore. So I'm
mm-hmm.
trying to bring that back through the music.
I love that. I love that. And music is like a love language of mine. It
It
has
is.
helped me through so many challenges. And I know a couple of years ago, I had went on a spiritual journey that helped me heal from loss. And I found out so much stuff about myself. So as you became a musician and playing all of these different instruments and things like that, encountering different people and giving them different experiences, how has it helped your life when it comes to mental health wise? Because I know, we all have some form of anxiety, and mental illness is not talked about, especially in our community. So but how has your love for music and making people feel good helped you stay in a good headspace?
So is I see that I'm actually resurrecting these people's cultures. I mean, perfect example, in January, I played for the Chinese New Year. I'm the only brother there. I'm dressed up in Chinese attire. They think I'm a costume person. They think I'm like entertainment, go dance around. I'm like, oh no, I'm just to play some Chinese instruments. And then I'm playing these instruments and I'm like, have you ever heard of the Chinese Shao? Nothing. So I was like, none of these people don't even know these is their instruments, but because they're so Americanized, they forgot. So it's
Mhm.
like being able to help them remember, it really gives me a full purpose. And then as far as for myself, it is amazing. When I say KeKe, it is amazing. Like if you think of this, whenever you get upset, what do they tell you? Take a deep breath, calm down,
Down. Mhm.
relax.
Mhm.
I have to do that to play these flutes. And like the Chinese, Japanese flutes, the shakuhachi, this is what the Buddhist monks play. This is what the
Mm.
samurai warriors play
Mm.
to get into these different states of conscious. And I understand why, because every time I play, I have to take a deep breath in. I have to tighten my stomach muscles. I have to hold it and release it as slow as possible. Well, what that's doing is that's leaving the oxygen in my body more. That's zenning me. When I'm done, I might play for. There's sometimes I play for like 4 or 5 hours straight,
Mm.
and I'm talking about ain't a stress in the world. I could literally have the worst day. I'll come upstairs, I'll put on my headphones, I'll pick that flute up, and within seconds, I'm talking like 30, 40 seconds, it's gone
Yeah.
because I studied not just the music, but I studied how frequency and sound affects the body when
Yes.
you're dealing on a micro level, and it works for all. My daughter will call me, and all the babies will be just crying, and oh, they won't shut up. She threatens them now and says, "Papa gonna get them flutes." And I'm talking about when I hit them with the flutes. I mean, it's like I slapped them with the vibrations, and
Yeah.
and then about 5 minutes later, they all sleep.
Sleep. Yes.
And that brings me joy to know that there's other options. I mean, when we grew up, they were like, run the vacuum cleaner. Nobody want to hear no vacuum cleaner. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yes.
or they play piano music or something that has its own frequency. But I understand. Are you familiar with the chakra system?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so each seven chromatic musical note is connected to the
To the
chakras. So
chakras. Mm-hmm.
when people are like, "Oh, I'm having heart issues," well, let me go get my key of F. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm having digestive stomach. Well, let me get my key of D. And it works.
Works.
It
Mm-hmm.
really works.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of getting people to believe it. You know.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, though. We are so close-minded about the things that we don't know. And I know when I started liking, like, Zen work and yoga and getting to know myself on a more spiritual level through meditation and stuff like that, I had to explain to some family members just because I'm meditating, that does not mean that I'm trying to conjure up any type of spirits or anything. Like,
Right.
if you go into something with a negative outcome or a negative intention, guess what you're gonna get? You're gonna
Right.
get that.
You're gonna get
If
what you
you
get.
go through life moving through anything with love and good intention, positivity, and spiritual growth and fulfillment, that's what you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
So, I used to suffer from migraines all the time. Started when I was 15 years old, but the more I learned about the chakras and the different pressure points on the body and high
Mm-hmm.
frequencies to listen to, I don't get them as much as I used to because I'm tapped into that. I know how to
Yeah.
press myself right here or something and then close my eyes and take myself to a different place. And I'm calming the mind so that the blood can flow freely and it just releases all of those negative toxins and
Yeah.
all the other stuff. And that energy just flows out of you. So I love that.
That's a
Man,
perfect.
listen.
You just did the perfect example of my album, Know Thyself. You know what you need to do to fix it versus people just complain about it. Oh, my
Yes.
head hurt. Oh my, what you gonna do about it? They did me the same way when I played the flutes, but look, I hit them with the Bible. I'm like,
Huh.
they like, well, we don't get, I was trying to get into the churches. I'm like, let me play some of this music. They're like, oh no, that's of
Uh-huh.
the devil. I'm
That
like, wait, hold on now. Let me get my lyre harp that King David played. Let me get my trumpets that the angels played. Let me get my flute that this person played. They like, oh, I'm like, you think they had a drum set in the middle of the Middle East back in 2000 BC? You think they had an
what?
organ out there? let me bring you back to the original music that Jesus was listening to. Oh, they don't want
Okay.
to hear that.
They don't want to hear that
But
because
it's
what
true.
we supposed to hear when
It's
Jesus come
true.
back?
This is what they listened to 2,000
Okay.
years ago.
Okay. See, and
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
love to hear you talk about that because they say the same thing about crystals and stuff like that. And it's all from the earth, but it's all about how you perceive it.
Look,
Listen,
look here,
I
baby.
got my amethyst on and I got a table full right here.
Hey, yeah, that's my birthstone.
Yes.
Yeah, because God don't make no junk. Everything has value. I'm like, why can they use crystals to power your TV and power your watches and make weapons of mass destruction? They using the same crystals. The first radio was broadcast through a freaking crystal. But yet I want to wear crystal because certain elements of the earth calm me. Well, guess what? If God had something against crystals, He wouldn't have made us of crystals because we have the copper in our body. We have the zinc that's in our body. So if I want to wear a zinc necklace, can you explain to me what is wrong with that? Because it is in my body and God created me. But you're right, it's because they don't know and they don't have the knowledge and they fear what they don't know.
Mm-hmm. And don't get
But
us
that's why
wrong,
we're here to
guys.
educate them.
Exactly. And don't get us wrong. There is for everything that is good, there is something that's not
Oh,
good.
yeah.
So
Oh,
they do
yeah.
have people out there that's using things that are supposed to be
Yes.
beautiful for something that's negative and evil.
Yep.
Don't buy
Yep.
into that. Ask God to protect you from all of that, and you shall be protected.
Yep. Yep.
But
Everything
yeah,
has two sides. Everything has two
everything,
sides. Food
everything
can heal you and food can
can
kill
hurt
you.
you. Mm.
A gun can protect you and a gun can kill you. It's all about your intentions. You said that right on the money.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, what? How do you navigate the challenges of maintaining professional and personal relationships when it comes to pursuing your music career? Have you found any challenges? I know you just talked about one of not being able to go into churches and do the stuff like that, but have you found any other challenges when you inform like your family, "Hey, I'm getting ready to tap into a new career right here."
I mean, to be honest with you, I just separated myself from those people. If you ain't on my vibe, then I don't care if you're my first cousin, second cousin. It is what it is. I can't let you push me off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that are in my circle, really, it's just my mom, my sister, my wife, my kids. They've all been real, real supportive. None of them knew it was gonna turn into such a career. They just like, oh, look at Ace, he got a little flute, he trying to play a little something, something. And then all of a sudden I'm on the news for Mental Health Awareness Day, because I'm telling you, man, the first time I picked up and blew into the flute, I knew it was gonna be. I looked at my wife. I said, "I'm gonna be a famous flute player, and not famous because I want to be on TV. Famous because I want this message out to the world." And I would
Mm-hmm.
tell people that, and at first they would laugh because I wasn't good. But then they remember when I told them I was gonna be on TV and have my own cooking show too. So they was like, "Okay, well, you said that, you did that." What they didn't realize is I got a little bit of an obsession from it, which makes me practice every day. And most musicians, you 30 minutes here, 30 minutes when they can in between breaks. Oh no, I'm every day. If I can't sleep at night, I pick the flute up and play for an hour. I'll be playing the flute and be dozing off, and then I go to sleep. So the amount of time that I put into it really has just made my career expand. So now when people were like, I got some kickback, oh, what you trying to be a musician, but you don't want to cook no more. So I had to educate them and be like, no, I don't have to be Ace the chef for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think people go wrong. They get this one identity, you a doctor. So what, that's all you good for? That's your purpose in life is just to be a doctor? Why can't you be a musician too? Why can't you play a sport or do anything? Because we just train and just like the B movie. You see the B movie? Pick your one
Uh-huh.
job for the rest of your life
Uh-huh.
and be happy with it. I'm
Be
like, I
happy with it.
refuse to.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because you miss out on different callings that you are attached to. Your purpose is bigger than you. And when people understand their purpose, they know that I have different layers to this purpose. And it's
Yes.
about helping others tap into a new mindset to understand that, hey, you can have that too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But this has been amazing. So
Indeed.
we know that you are a chef. We know that you are an artist. We know that you are an author and all the things. So tell the listeners how they can support you, where you hang out on social media. How can we get the albums, the books, all the things? Go ahead and plug Ace. What, Good Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can definitely go onto my website, chefchampion.com. I have everything on there. All my social media handles are on there, my YouTube channel, on demand videos. My YouTube channel for my music is Good Buffalo Spirit 1111. Facebook Ace Champion, and just check it out. My albums are on there. I make them really cheap for you to do a digital down. I ain't got no CDs. People like, where your CDs at? I'm like, where your CD player at? First of all, So I have it on digital download. They can download right to their phone, and I just encourage people, just to listen to it. You ain't gotta like turn meditation, relaxing music on once you get all crazy. Like you kind of too late. You want to like incorporate in your everyday just music repertoire. When you go into bed, play that music. When you get up in the morning, play that music. That's going to set the tone. And eventually, your cells are going to start getting used to that calming frequency, and the body has to follow, and then you'll be calm. But if you want to listen to the rap game and rock music and all this up here, that's where all the stress is. I'm sorry, and stress is very dangerous. People don't realize, and especially in our culture, I mean, we be
Mm-hmm.
stressing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
all the time, and I tell people, I'm like, that's really this flight or fight stage. You releasing all this cortisol in your body, and then you wonder why you sick all the time. You think it's because something you ate or because you got a cold. No, it's all that negative energy that is a real thing that's just built up, and you have no way to release it. So it's releasing itself through a disease or through a runny nose or whatever that might be.
Right. Absolutely. Listen, man, we have so much in common. I'm so excited that you
I
are
didn't
here.
realize that. I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
Yes, I'm
Because I
proud of you
guarantee
too.
you, if we go down to Greensburg, hey, we might not find too many people on the level that we on right now.
Not at
And
all.
everybody's got their purpose and they got their time and stuff like that. But I'm glad that you found the crystals and you found the acupressure and you learning about the chakras, and it's like that's you. Like it's and they say chakras. Oh, that's all because the Buddhists thought of it. No, when you look at it, it's really an energy center. These are things. This is no different than me talking about my heart, or no different than me talking about my lungs. It's just on a more of a smaller level that we just weren't taught about.
Or
So
it's called something different. It is called something different and it's not referred to as a chakra. It's referred to as what it is, like you said,
right,
Yeah,
they call
but
it energy centers or the
mm,
medical term, but yeah,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
like again,
Hmm.
when people don't know, when they don't know, and they're
They don't
afraid
know.
to become open for fear of liking it because it's change.
Yes. Oh yeah, and once you open that door, you can't go back.
Exactly.
And they don't want to change. You're right. There are a lot of
That's
people
the
they
it's
don't.
the thing. Like you have to want better to do better. And I'm so glad that I am better because, my life has been a perfect reflection of embracing the calmness instead of the chaos.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because you brace the
Yes.
chaos, what's gonna happen? You're gonna get more of it because that's where your
More
energy's going.
exactly. And you know what
Yeah.
I found that most people, when you are unbothered, they get bothered by you not being bothered by that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm
They don't
like,
understand.
I'm good. You good? Like I don't need to argue. I don't need to raise my voice. I don't need to be
But
around
that's
you
the
if you're complaining.
toxicity that lives around us.
Yeah, yeah. But this
You
hasn't
know,
been
they doing bad,
amazing.
so they want you to do bad.
That misery loves company, right?
Yep, yep, yep,
But
yep,
I
yep.
refuse to take up
No,
residence in the hotel or on that property at all.
I
So
hear you.
miss me
I
with
hear you.
that. But
We should do a meditation session together. Invite all your viewers on here for like a listen and learn or whatever. 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever that might be, and just kind of introduce them to the different ways of listening to music.
absolutely, I would love that. We would talk about this when the camera stopped rolling.
For sure, for sure.
Yes. But before we get out of here, Ace, are there any words of encouragement or empowerment that you would like to leave with the listeners today about life, love, and all that other shit.
Yeah, just I mean, take responsibility of your life. You know what I mean? There's so many things that's happening for the mental, from the, gaining weight or it might be, and it's so easy to blame it on somebody else or look for somebody else to help guide you. But just know that you are the only guide that you need. Everything that you need, all the answers that you need. Yeah, you can pray to God, but you also got to participate in your prayer too as well. You can't say, God, send me a new job, and then not go out there and go look for the job. You got to participate in the goals that you set, and self motivate yourself. I had to learn that. I was looking for someone to I would tell my friends, motivate me, man. Tell me it's gonna be all right. And then they would tell me, and it just went right through me. It didn't really stick. It was only
Mm.
when I started motivating myself and visualizing my future, how I wanted to be, I would get excited for what's not even here yet, because I know it's coming, because I know where to go get it at. So, like you said, like Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. You just got to take the first step. So take that first step. Start trying to know yourself. Like KeKe said, if you got a headache, let's figure out what's causing that headache. You're gaining weight, let's figure out why you're gaining weight. Like, figure out the whys, and then you'll start to see your life start to transform because of you. And that ain't nothing going against Christ. That ain't nothing going against God. God wants you. He made you as this superior being to do these things, not just to cry out, help me, help me, help me, help me. You're not a help case. You're the children of God. I mean, come on now, let's act like it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
yeah,
Act like it.
yeah.
Yes. Listen, I don't have nothing else to say after that.
I ain't got nothing to say it
We got
either.
we gonna drop the mic on that.
Yeah.
Ace and I will be working on something for you guys can participate in learning how to meditate and get into the music that will help calm the mind, body, and soul, so that you can live with a great spirit. Because you only get
Yes.
one body, so why not be good to it so that it can continue to be good to you? Um, with that being said, you guys have been listening to another episode of Kicking It With KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am back every Thursday for a new episode on all streaming platforms as well as YouTube. So make sure you tap in. All right. Later and purple hugs.
All right. All right. Namaste.